Hello, Lakers Nation. Welcome in. Let's talk about Montrezl Harrell, the shiny new toy on the Lakers this season that a lot of fans were extremely excited about, but I felt that energy kind of switch. I've seen a lot of people actually down on Trez early on in the season. Remember, we are only 7 games in. I've already seen a lot of Lakers fans that are uncertain about exactly what role Trez is going to have with the Lakers this season, but I want to get into that because LeBron James had a really interesting take that I think maybe we're not giving enough credit to. I'm Trevor Lane for LakersNation.com. Please make sure you subscribe right here to the Lakers Nation YouTube channel, and don't forget to come join us over on the Flick app by clicking the link in the description down below. All right, so LeBron, after the game against the Memphis Grizzlies, where Trez put up 16 points and 9 rebounds to go along with 2 steals, had a nice performance. LeBron James had this take on Montrezl Harrell as well as Wesley Matthews. Huge for us. Their energy is infectious, so them coming off the bench with that energy and effort just translates to the rest of us. Trez was very active, not only with the scoring, but his offensive rebounding and defensive approach as well. Giving up size and pounds to Valanciunas, I thought he handled his own and did a hell of a job. Same with West, just coming in and giving us that defensive presence, that energy, and also knocking down a couple of shots was big time for our team. Okay, so we hear the word energy associated with Montrezl Harrell more than any other word out there, no question. Montrezl Harrell equals energy, but perhaps we're not putting enough value on that, especially this season. There's no fans in the stands in most arenas, and so what the Lakers are running up against is not only are they having to go out there and be the champions, which means they've got the target on their back more than usual. They always have a target on their back because they're the Lakers, but now they're also the defending champions, which means every single game, every team they play is going to get up for that game. They know, for example, they're playing the Memphis Grizzlies right now. The Grizzlies know this will be their most watched game of the season, almost certainly. There's going to be a lot of eyeballs on them for this game. They're going to play their absolute best to try to knock off the Lakers, and the same is going to be true every game throughout the season. And picking up the energy to that level game in and game out can be difficult, especially when there's no crowd. The Lakers have already talked about it, the fact that they feed off of the home crowd, and then they also feed off of shutting up the road crowd. And not to mention the fact that Lakers fans, well, we tend to travel pretty well, and so there's usually a lot of Lakers fans even in road arenas. Like, my goodness, go look and see what happens when the Lakers play the Atlanta Hawks. It's mostly purple and gold in the stands. So that's something that has to be accounted for this season. So what Montrezl Harrell does, and Wesley Matthews too, what LeBron is saying here is Wes is part of this as well, is he provides that energy. And so sometimes when we are watching a game and we're saying, oh, Montrezl Harrell blew this pick and roll, Montrezl Harrell's undersized, he wasn't able to handle his man in the post, and on and on and on, those are fair criticisms. But I think we're also perhaps overlooking the energy effect here. How much energy and how much enthusiasm does he bring to the rest of his team? A team that just won an NBA championship that might have a little bit of difficulty getting super motivated to play a team like the Memphis Grizzlies on, say, a Tuesday. You never have to worry about Montrezl Harrell with that. He always has the foot on the gas pedal. He has one speed, and that's going 100 miles an hour. Alex Caruso is built the same way. So that energy, I think, has an inherent value to it. And so perhaps as much as we're bemoaning when Montrezl Harrell has a bad game, I don't think we're spending enough time recognizing the impact that he can have in terms of picking up the rest of the team, even when he himself isn't playing all that well. But really, when I dug into the stats, he isn't playing as poorly as people would think. You know, you look at his point total, and we say, oh my gosh, he's so much worse than when he was a Clipper. He was averaging 18.6 points per game when he was 6th man of the year with the Clippers. He's only averaging 12.9 so far this season with the Lakers. Yeah, he's shooting almost 5 shots per game less as a Laker. You notice the Lakers aren't force-feeding him the ball in pick and roll the way the Clippers were. They're not running the same way, so he's not getting nearly as many scoring opportunities. So, of course, his scoring average is going to drop. Anyone's scoring average would drop if you lost that many shots per game. Now, maybe that will go up at some point as the Lakers get more accustomed to playing with Montrezl Harrell and he grows into his role. They kind of figure each other out. But for right now, the reduction in scoring isn't a major concern. He's shooting 63% from the field. And I know we bemoan, oh my gosh, he bricked another jumper, or, you know, he missed a gimme at the rim. 63% from the field is tremendous. He's shooting a very high percentage overall and deserves to get credit for that. Also, he's playing almost 3 minutes per game less than he was last season. He's at 25 minutes per game, which is the fewest of his last 3 seasons. His last 3 seasons, this is the fewest amount of minutes that he's played, and yet his rebounding numbers are the highest of his career. He's averaging 7.6 rebounds per game right now, which is higher than any season of his career. And the damage on the offensive glass that he is doing is real. 2.9 offensive rebounds per game. Again, a career high there as well. What he can do on the glass is making up for, in some ways, any deficiencies elsewhere. Offensive boards are a stat that I like to look at a lot because they're so important, generating those second chance points. That's how you can really demoralize a team. When a team finally gets a stop on LeBron James, on Anthony Davis, they finally get them to miss. And then, Montrezl Harrell grabbed the offensive board, and now we have to do it all over again. That is a demoralizing experience, and Montrezl Harrell is very, very good at that. Now, again, I'm not saying he's a perfect player at all. There are certainly areas of his game where he needs to get better. The pick and roll coverage needs a lot of improvement there, certainly. And there are times where he's in matchups where his lack of size is really evident when he's playing against kind of the bigger, beefier guys that are out there. It can be pretty noticeable. So don't get me wrong. I'm not saying he's perfect, but he does deserve credit for the things that he's doing well out there. And like LeBron and a number of other Lakers mentioned after this Memphis Grizzlies game, he does a lot to bring energy and pick the whole team up to take a game that was trending to be a low energy performance and force everyone to focus and match what he's bringing. I think that's an important quality for any team to have. But he's not just an energy guy. Well, he is very, very good at that. He also brings a lot else to the table. We talked about his offensive rebounds, the efficient scoring. He takes charges, all of these other things that certainly matter. As Marc Gasol said after the game against the Grizzlies about Montrezl Harrell, he's not just an energy guy. He's very talented as well. But let me know your thoughts on Montrezl Harrell. Is the criticism that he's received so far this season warranted, or do you believe, like me, that he should be getting a little more credit? It's something we're going to be discussing over on the Flick app. So again, make sure you use the link in the description down below. And don't forget, make sure you're following Lakers Nation across social media at Lakers Nation on Twitter and Facebook, at Lakers Nation Official on Instagram. If you want to follow me, you can find me at Trevor_Lane on Twitter, at Trevor Lane NBA on Facebook and Instagram. Till next time, stay safe and see ya.